Welcome to Brattleboro's Town Matters podcast, and thank you for listening. This is a brief update on what's happening in Brattleboro town government. I'm your host, Town Manager John Potter, broadcasting from the BCTV studios in Brattleboro, Vermont. Today we're going to look back at the December 3rd Brattleboro Select Board meeting, and then we'll preview the agenda for the upcoming regular meeting on Tuesday, December 17th. At the board's December 3rd meeting, there were 4 items on the consent agenda. There was a first-class liquor license for the Royal Diner on Marlborough Road. There was acceptance of a $13,000 grant from the Justice Assistance Grant Program. There was a request to authorize parking for holidays on the Sunday of that weekend, and there was authorization for a nearly $7,000 change order number 7 for the Pleasant Valley Water Treatment Facility project, and all 4 of those items were passed on consent by a vote of 5-0. Under old business, the board next heard from Planning Director Sue Fillion on the parking ordinance changes that had been recommended by the Traffic Safety Committee for the area around the Vermont Country Deli. This was the second reading, and so the board adopted changes to the Brattleboro Code of Ordinances by a motion that passed 5-0. Following that, Planning Director Fillion stayed in the meeting and brought forward the second reading of a vacant buildings ordinance. With planning technician Steve Hayes, she discussed this with the board, which had originally been on their agenda back in May. They talked about the penalty section and the registration fee for the vacant building ordinance, and they discussed what is considered a vacant property. Finally, they had a conversation about the vacant Home Depot building and whether that would qualify under the ordinance. After all that discussion, there was a motion to table this vote and to take this item up again at a future meeting, and that passed by the board 5-0. After the discussion, the select board heard from Executive Director Adam Grinold, Laura Sibilia, and Alex Beck from the BDCC and the SEVIDS program. They talked about the work of BDCC and SEVIDS, and following a discussion with them, the board allocated $36,147 from the revolving loan fund to SEVIDS for fiscal year 26, and that motion passed by a vote of 4-1. After BDCC, Executive Director Kate Traskis from the Downtown Brattleboro Alliance came before the board to give an update on work of the DBA. They heard from Executive Director Traskis, and then a motion was passed by a vote of 5-0 to place an item on the warning for the 2025 Representative Town Meeting to authorize the collection of an assessment on properties in the downtown district in the total amount of $80,000. Following that, Planning Director Fillion brought a first reading of Chapter 15 ordinance changes to the Downtown Improvement District. These were discussed regarding pretty much minor changes to how the downtown district is set up in the town's code. Since it was a first reading, no motion was required or requested, and that will come back at a future meeting for further consideration by the board. After that, Kate O'Connor and Hannah Clarice from the Charter Revision Commission came before the select board, and they would like an article on the representative town meeting warning for an advisory vote on should we keep RTM. The board and the commission members discussed the language and some proposed changes, and there was the thought that the commission might go back and rethink the wording of such a question. No action was taken on this item, and that was the meeting of December 3rd. The next select board meeting is a special meeting scheduled for Tuesday, December 17th at 6:15 p.m. in the select board meeting room at 230 Main Street or online. The preliminary agenda is the following. There are 7 items on the consent agenda: a third-class liquor license renewal for Plated Bar and Restaurant on Main Street, a first and third class liquor license and an outside consumption permit for Springtree Marina LLC at 28 Springtree Road, potential award of a $56,200 contract to New Gen Strategies to do a water and sewer rate study, approval of 4 final changes to certify the 2024 grand list to the state, a potential authorization of up to $20,080 for a grant application to the Vermont Better Roads Grant Program to help complete a road erosion inventory, potential authorization of a $55,000 purchase from Alta Equipment Company for the Highway Division's vehicle number 42, which is a hotbox pavement recycler. And finally, on the consent agenda is potential authorization for up to a $200,000 grant application to the Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program for technical rescue equipment and training. The only other business on the board's agenda for December 17th is the FY26 general fund budget and possible reductions to the base budget for FY26 that have been discussed previously at select board meetings. And so if you're interested in the budget process, that is the next installment, and please join that meeting. I do have several announcements. With the General John Stark Memorial Bridge now open to traffic, the town of Brattleboro and the Vermont State Agency of Transportation are working to fine-tune the traffic light patterns in the surrounding area to improve traffic flow. We appreciate everyone's patience while this work is underway in the weeks ahead. The Recreation and Parks Department will be hosting numerous events during the winter break, including a full lineup of activities for New Year's Eve. Visit brattleboro.gov to view the Rec and Parks winter brochure. And finally, Brooks Memorial Library has launched a survey asking patrons how they currently use and would like to use the library's technology services. You can take the survey by visiting the library's website at brookslibraryvt.org. Print copies of the survey are also available at the circulation desk. So that's your update on what's happening in Brattleboro Town Government with the Select Board. There's lots of additional information on the website, brattleboro.gov, about what's discussed at the Select Board meeting, so please check that out for agendas, reports, and backup materials. Thanks for listening, and we'll update you again soon.